NFL. And we are going to start with an NFL mock draft.
Let's go, man.
You guys know how this goes. Anytime we draft up a list, we start with rock, paper, scissors, and shoot. Who had the first pick last time we did this? Because we did the redraft when?
That was last week.
I think it was you because you picked Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I think it's only fair since the Jets fans, whoever has the number 1 pick, will have picks 4 and 10. So I'm going to allow you to rock, paper, scissors for the number 1 overall pick. And then whoever loses will face me for number 2.
We should just do whoever loses gets 3.
Why?
I don't know why.
This guy wants number 3 for some reason, but go ahead.
I don't really care.
2 out of 3?
Sure.
Okay.
And
says right?
shoot.
Says shoot. Yeah.
Right.
Rock, paper, scissors says shoot.
Oh, okay, Joel.
Rock, paper, scissors says shoot.
Clean sweep.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh,
listen, man. For picks 2 and 3.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. Okay.
Right.
Someone actually
the
commented
psychology
saying,
behind this is ridiculous.
Someone commented saying, I saw them do rock, paper, scissors and subbed immediately. So maybe we get another one.
That's real.
Okay, so you have the first pick.
Yes. Are we doing music?
Yes.
Of course.
Are we doing music?
It's not a.
Are we doing music?
I'm just asking because it's an easy choice for me. I don't even got to wait.
Come on.
Okay. You ready?
Yes, sir. First pick, Jacksonville Jaguars select Aiden Hutchinson. I know Trayvon Walker has been getting a ton of buzz, ton of love lately. He's an athletic freak. He could rush the passer, but he's still raw to me. Aiden Hutchinson is also a great athlete, but he has the production to back it up in Michigan. I don't think Jacksonville can take... I don't want to call Trayvon Walker a project, but as a pass rusher, he still has some work to do. I think with number 1 overall pick, you got to go with the surefire thing. Hutchinson could come in year 1 and get you 8+ sacks.
I like it. I like it a lot.
This is tough for me because I look at Detroit and I'm kind of trying to I'm trying to basically pick what I would pick.
Okay.
But I also I want this to be like a realistic mock. And with Detroit, I feel like they're going to pick Trayvon Walker. But I just have the feeling that with the team they currently have, they do need defensive help. I would love for them to get a wide receiver like DJ Chark, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Imagine him paired up with one of these guys like Garrett Wilson or Drake London or Jameson. I think that sounds amazing. But I just don't think they're going to draft a wide receiver.
It would be pretty early. It would be crazy.
And I'm also looking at Sauce because they need cornerback help. But I don't know if they draft Sauce this high either. I feel like they wouldn't draft Sauce here. But
burned down a corner top 5 already.
But God damn it, this is my mock draft. With the second pick in the NFL draft, the Detroit Lions select Sauce Gardner. I think they need cornerback help. Jeff Okudah's coming back, but for right now, he looks like a disappointment. I would go corner here, solidify the secondary of that defense. They already have Julian Okwara, Romeo Okwara. They have at least some pass rushers there, so I don't think they don't have to reach for a Trayvon Walker. And I would love Sauce. I think he's a lockdown corner, and Detroit desperately needs that right now.
All right, you could hit my music. Now, with the 3rd overall pick, I do have the Houston Texans selection here. And the reason why I am going with Kayvon Thibodeaux is because the Houston Texans need essentially everything. And I understand the things going on with Kayvon Thibodeaux, given the fact that his personality may not fit most NFL locker rooms. But when you're the Houston Texans, you need a game changer, and that is Kayvon Thibodeaux. He has all the attributes to be an X-Factor type edge rusher, and I'm going with Kayvon Thibodeaux.
Now, Joe?
Made my pick easy, because if you passed up on Kayvon, I was going to have a hard time deciding between him and the pick that I think, if the board falls like this, which would be a bit surprising, no tackles going top 3. I guess that's it standing now. Only the Texans would probably be considering tackle, but at 4th, the Jets, it's Trayvon Walker.
Okay.
I know I called him a bit of a project, but he has all the tools to do it. Robert Saleh knows if there's anyone could do it, it's him. He had 7 pressures in the national championship game. So although he didn't play a ton at Georgia, I would say about half as much as a normal player would on their college team. He showed flashes that he could be a really great pass rusher. He could line up on the inside or the outside. The Jets have needed a pass rush for years now. Pair him up with Carl Lawson. Still have pick 10, 2 other picks in the top 40 to address other needs. But getting edge at number 4, some think that he's the best pass rusher in this class. So I think pairing him with what we got, as long with good coaching too, could work out well.
Real quick question. If you had Sauce, if you have Kayvon, and you had Walker, all 3 available, if for number 4, let's say for just conversation purposes, if you're the Jets, who do you want?
Drake London.
At number 4. You could get him at 10, but realistically.
I would pick
It's tough.
Trayvon.
Trayvon?
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
I would pick Trayvon. So I think this was a great pick.
I've seen some things from Jets reporters saying that corner is a real consideration at 4, so I think Sauce would be in the conversation.
For sure.
But I think it's going to be hard for them to pass on the pass rushers. They need one so bad.
No, definitely.
Between Trayvon and Kayvon. What I've heard from Kayvon is his interview with the Jets went really well. They were really impressed with him. Nice. I know that was a big issue going into it, so as long as that went well, which it sounds like it did, maybe that jumps him up the board. It's just, do the Jets... Are they going to put a lot into account that Kayvon's done it for multiple years and was fantastic his freshman year, or Trayvon, who hasn't shown it as much but probably has the higher upside? I think they would go Trayvon, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think they would go edge, though.
Okay, with the 5th overall pick in the draft, I have the New York Giants selecting...
This is another easy one.
Charles Cross.
Ooh.
Eey, wow.
I actually do think Charles Cross is one of the best tackles in this draft. I think in term with him, I was considering Ike Nkwonu, but he struggles. He struggles in pass pro. I was too. I just feel like Evan Neal, he's a natural left tackle. You'd have to move him to right tackle because of Andrew Thomas.
He played right tackle his junior season or sophomore.
I thought that's one of the pluses why he's going to the Giants, because he could play right tackle.
Yeah, maybe.
But I understand what you're saying. No.
Charles, maybe I messed up my pick, but
not even. Charles Cross is going to be a great talent regardless.
The real reasoning behind why I made this pick is because I remember in the 2020 draft when there was a lot of offensive linemen in that draft. It was Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, Mekhi Becton, Jedrick Wills. Everybody was surprised when Andrew Thomas got selected by the Giants.
He was seen as the safest pick out of everyone.
He was seen as the safest pick, but
my
also
favorite lineman in the history of the game.
I feel like in that draft, at least coming into the college football season, he was the consensus best lineman.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the year, you had Wirfs jump him. You had Wills jump him. He became like 3-4. And that pick was like, oh, wow, they selected Andrew Thomas. I feel like this is going to be similar. A lot of people have Charles Cross as their number 1 tackle in this draft. So I think, they go that.
It's great in pass protection. They threw it a ton. Mississippi State with
and I also kind of wanted to give you the lob on this and pick the player that I think you should pick for the Panthers.
I'm sure that is what you were doing. So you can hit my music. So with the 6th pick in the first round, the Carolina Panthers on the clock, I'm going with Ike Nkwonu.
Damn.
Unfortunately, for Joel, he let Ike fall into my lap, and this is exactly what the Panthers need. They need offensive line help terribly, and Ike can do both pass block and run block. This is a no-brainer.
I would have went Evan Neal.
Nah, I feel like Ike at 6 is more than fine, especially for the fact that he could go 1. So to get potentially the best offensive line talent at 6, I can't pass on it.
Joe?
We got the Giants here, and the way this draft is going, it's beautiful for the Giants. They got their tackle already at 5. I would have gone Evan Neal, but they got Charles Cross, who's still a really good player.
Definitely.
They have a lot of options here. I don't think Hamilton's on the board. They don't need tackle anymore. I don't think they go receiver here. I think they go corner.
Make the right pick, dude.
I think with Don Martindale, their new defensive coordinator, he's really going to, prioritize guys who play man-to-man coverage. The best man corner in this class, I think, is Derek Stingley. I know he has some issues, but I think at pick 7, you go for upside here, get someone who could be a number 1 corner, and the Giants take Derek Stingley.
All right, I like it. I love it, actually. Can I ask you what's the issues? Just for the fact that he hasn't played, is that really the issue?
With Stingley?
Yes.
His issue is 2019 tape was ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Then he's been
injured. He would have been a top 5 pick that year.
Yes, for sure. Then he was injured. He didn't play as well overall the last 2 seasons. So I think everyone was expecting him to progress over the last 2 years, and he's taken a step back. And I think that's what's causing him to kind of fall down the board, although he's 7 here. So, I mean, it's not much of a fall.
And he's clearly healthy, ran a great 40 time. His broad jump was great. His vertical jump was great. He seems to be 100% healthy. There should be no concerns drafting him.
Imagine if this board goes the way it does, and instead of me selecting Charles Cross, I select Icky. The Panthers select whoever, and then the Giants also select a tackle. So they would have Icky and Cross or Neal.
The thing is, they have Andrew Thomas.
Yeah,
they don't need the tackle.
They can play one at right. But then you'd basically have...
You have to move one into guard. Icky could play guard,
he's better at guard.
I know, but I don't think you're taking a guard at 5 or 7.
If he's a Pro Bowl guard, absolutely you are.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, Quentin Nelson's really the only guard I can remember in the last few years that's gone that high.
And now the Giants fixed their offensive line.
11-ish?
I'm not
He was
sure.
in the teams.
Quentin Nelson was 6, though.
Yeah.
No. Quentin Nelson went crazy high.
Yeah, well, AVT went 14, right?
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, the Giants, imagine they have Andrew Thomas, Icky, and Neal across.
Yeah, but they have so many needs that get the tackle. I get it. You could solidify that line and then go otherwise.
Their biggest need is offensive line.
Their biggest need is quarterback.
But there's no quarterback
here.
Giants.
Oh my God.
Okay, on to the 8th pick in the draft. The Atlanta Falcons are selecting Garrett Wilson, my number 1 wide receiver in this draft. They desperately need wide receiver help, although I think they made a great signing Auden Tate to the roster. He's going to have a big-time year. I think now you have a receiving core of Auden Tate, Garrett Wilson, and Kyle Pitts with Cordero Patterson in the backfield. It sounds like Marcus Mariota is going to have a breakout bounce-back season for sure.
All right, solid. This is interesting now. All right, you can hit my music because this is what I genuinely do believe the Seahawks will do. Now, in my opinion, I would not go this high on this position, especially in this draft. However, when you're the Seattle Seahawks and you are desperate for the most important position in football, you need to take the top prospect, and I do believe that is Malik Willis. And with the 8th pick, I am going to be selecting him.
9th.
Excuse me, 9th. I apologize. I'm looking at Atlanta. I forgot to put in Garrett Wilson. So thank you very much.
We screwed the Jets, bro.
Nah, the Jets, if this is where it's sitting at the Jets,
it's a home run.
10,
it's a home run.
It's a home run. Joe Douglas is going to have to fight somebody because Joe Douglas is going to see Evan Neal on the board here, and it's going to be impossible for him to pass up.
That's fact.
But I think you look at this offensive line, you're expecting Becton to at least stay on the field more than a game and a quarter, and you have George Fant, who played well. You don't have much behind him now. We lost Morgan Moses. Evan Neal is there. I get it, but I've been having this funny feeling over these last week or so that the Jets are going to go Jameson Williams at 10. I think they need an explosive playmaker. I know everyone's saying get Drake London, get that 6'5". That guy could go up and get the ball, but we have size. Corey Davis is 6'2", 6'3". Conklin is tall. Uzama is tall. I don't think we're desperate for size. Jameson Williams brings something to this team, 6'2".
There you go.
But he brings just something different to this team in terms of explosiveness, game breaking. They wanted Tyreek Hill. So I think even though Neal is on the board, everyone loves Drake London. I think the Jets get 2 players that have boom potential in Jameson
100%.
Williams and Trayvon Walker and could really change both sides of the ball for them.
Is Evan Neal really falling this far?
Evan Neal's
This is unrealistic as hell.
But I will say this. Jameson Williams fits Zach Wilson's play style tremendously. Zach Wilson with a big arm. You put a receiver on the outside of him that could go deep down the field. You could see some exciting things.
I just don't know if Douglas can be able to pass up Neal at 10 if that happens.
No, you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to.
Okay, now for the 11th pick, this is very, very tough because Evan Neal's here, but I don't think that's a position of need for Washington. They need linebacker. I wouldn't draft a linebacker this high. Man, they've invested in corner already. This is very, very tough. Oh my gosh.
Too hard for me.
Okay, you know what? I know who I'm going with. With the 11th pick in the draft, the Washington football team is selecting Chris Olavey.
Ooh.
Going Chris Olavey. I think they need more wide receiver help. Terry McLaurin, that contract situation, you don't know what's going to happen with that. I think you bring in Chris Olavey onto that team with Terry McLaurin, 2 Ohio State guys. You can't count on Curtis Samuel, and that's why I would bring in a wide receiver. Right now, they need more receivers. You can't count on Diami Brown or Curtis Samuel, so you need somebody who can also be a game changer, and I think Chris Olavey paired up with McLaurin, I think it does that.
Okay, wow. All right. Well, this is an interesting way that the board has broken down, and I tell you what, the Texans are going to hit an absolute lick. because they are going to end up with Evan Neal, because I am not going with Evan Neal at 12, even though the Vikings do desperately need offensive line help. I think their defense was absolutely atrocious last year, and you need to address it. And it's between Kyle Hamilton or Trent McDuffie. I think that I would be ridiculed by our fans if I did not go this player, especially our good friend Serge. So for versatility purposes alone, I am going Kyle Hamilton at the 12th selection.
Serge thinks he's the best player in the draft.
He does, which is
a replacement for Harrison Smith.
Sure. Possibly, yeah. I like that role for him. Play strong safety
for sure.
in the box more.
And just the cornerback position, just their defensive back position as a whole is lacking. Patrick Peterson being their best corner on the side. You can put him in that slot type of role as of right now, especially if Harrison Smith's going to be there. But once he's gone, Hamilton will fit perfectly there.
This pick is easy for me. I mean,
it
was between Hamilton and Neal, whoever you didn't take. Evan Neal is arguably a top 5 player in this draft. It's position in need of the Texans, which they need everything, if we're being quite honest. They took Kayvon Thibodeau at 3. Now they got Evan Neal at 13. If you're a Texans fan, you got to be ecstatic with this. Oh, my God.
You are losing
your mind.
It's
an A-plus draft, supposedly, if it does happen that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. At pick 14, the Baltimore Ravens, I'm not thinking about this pick, are selecting Trent McDuffie.
There you go. I like it.
Trent McDuffie, to me, is not far off from being the best corner in the draft. He's the best zone corner in this draft. He's the best tackler in this draft. I think he has some of the best instincts in this draft. He plays with a motor that is always on go, always on 100%. And we saw last year the Ravens got hurt at corner. Even though Marlon Humphrey's coming back, Peters is coming back, you bring in McDuffie to that group, they can have one of the top cornerback groups, one of the top secondaries in the league once again with those guys.
I would have loved McDuffie here for the Eagles right now. Ooh, this is a tough selection.
Eagles are a tough team because they don't have a ton of holes.
No,
and
you're right.
The holes they do have aren't like the highest.
But let me say this.
Priority.
Now, is Marcus Peters a free agent after this season? Just because they have depth at the cornerback, especially with Marcus Peters being back.
Yeah, but you've been banged up.
You have Marlon Humphrey, you have Marcus Peters, now you have Trent McDuffie. That's a great cornerback group without a doubt. And
McDuffie could play safety if he wanted to.
And another thing, that's
they
true.
Just got Marcus Williams.
Another thing that
play some slot
comes into my mind where when the Broncos selected Pat Surtain, and we had Callahan, we had Darby, we had Ojemudia, and now we just threw in Surtain. We're thinking that, maybe we had way too many corners, but then you look at it
he is a
the
free
season
agent
after. He is? There you go.
Also,
So I love
he's also
the pick.
approaching 30.
I love the pick. So in round 1, pick 15, I know who I have right next. And I don't want them to have this opportunity to select this player because I'm going to be drafting a couple selections after. And I could take that gamble of this player falling, but I don't want to do that if I'm the Eagles. I understand that I want to put my quarterback in a situation to have a plethora of weapons and to pair this player with Devonta Smith, who already is a excellent, meticulous route runner, a burner type receiver. I want the size of another wide receiver one on the opposite side of him. I'm going with Drake London at selection 15.
That's a great pick. Yeah, that was going to be my pick if he was available.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, the Saints' two biggest needs are left tackle and wide receiver. And the way the board has fallen so far, you have a ton of receivers gone, a ton of tackles gone. There's a bit of a drop-off in terms of, I think, how the NFL is viewing these players. Like, I have Treylon Burks really. I think he's the best receiver in this class, but I don't think he goes at 16. Bernard Raymond is nice, but he's older. I want to say he's 24. Yeah, he's almost 25. He's going to be a rookie. I'm not sure they're going to be all over that. It's such an old age. Receiver-wise, you're looking at Burks or like Sky Moore. I think really Burks is the last of that really tier 1 of guys. I think the Saints are looking at this, though, and saying that maybe Burks could fall to 19. But the way this board has fallen, you really don't need edge. Don't really need D-line at all, for that matter. I don't want to be a homer. Is this too high for Burks? I love Burks at 16.
If you think he's wide receiver number 1, then it's not.
I mean, for me, it's not. But
Make the pick.
The way the rest of the NFL is, all right, I'm going with Treylon Burks.
Okay.
Need a receiver desperately across from Michael Thomas. You got someone who is, in my opinion, the best rack receiver in this class. We're going to get into him a little bit more later, but Treylon Burks 16.
And to pair that next to Michael Thomas, so long as Michael Thomas is on the field, a lot of
Dynamic
versatility
duo, yeah.
for sure.
With the 17th pick in the NFL draft, the Los Angeles Chargers are selecting Jordan Davis.
Excellent pick.
The best defensive tackle in this draft. I think he's worthy of a top 10 pick. The fact that he's going to land here with the Chargers, they need an interior defensive lineman, although they did sign Sebastian Joseph Day.
Great pick.
They need as much depth as they can get because they do play a lot of dime. And because of that, I think they go Jordan Davis.
All right. I actually was looking at Jordan Davis for my pick with the Eagles at 18, given the fact that Fletcher Cox, his time with the Eagles is looking like it's going to be coming to an end soon. Now, with that being said, they do need linebackers. I'm looking at Devin Lloyd. I'm looking at Nakobe Dean. And I think that with our selection, you can hit our music. I am going to be selecting Nakobe Dean.
Kobe Dean, okay. You don't worry at all about his size, only being 5'11"?
That is a worry, but I do feel like his athleticism, his ability to read plays, I feel like
JOK
that's
was
why.
5'11".
There you go.
Sure.
And JOK put up
I
a
think
good
he's 6
rookie
foot.
season.
Well,
Pretty
same
sure it's
thing.
listed at 6.
Same thing.
5'11", you still have time to grow. But at this point in time, who knows?
5'11" only exists in the NFL.
It's
Because
true.
if you're 5'11" in real life, you're saying you're 6 foot.
Yep. No,
know?
definitely.
For sure. So 19, we'll get back to the Saints here. They took Treylon Burks at pick 16. As we mentioned, tackle is probably their other outstanding need. I don't love Tyler Penning. I thought he had some... Trevor Penning. I don't think playing at Northern Iowa, the best competition, also at the Senior Bowl, he had some really ugly tape. I know there were some highlight plays, but there's also some plays where he's like throwing defenders into his quarterback, like at the ankle, just overall didn't look great. I'm going a bit down the board here. Someone that's risen up the boards and just the people that I respect across the draft community is Tyler Smith from Tulsa. He's one of the younger players in this class. He's only 21 years old. He's only 21 years old, as I mentioned, but he could play guard, I think, to start off and then move later in his career, move over to tackle and potentially be their franchise left tackle. I don't love Raymond, like I mentioned, at 25 years old, and Penning. I have some issues with this tape. Tyler Smith's not a great run blocker, but I think he could develop into that. The Saints have shown they could develop players overall. So stick him at guard to start off and then move him to tackle later on.
What's this guy's name? Tyler
Smith from Tulsa.
Excuse me. All right. That was, according to PFF, that's a player not in the first round. But all right. I'll take your word for it.
You have the Steelers pick.
Who, me?
You.
No, you
Oh,
do.
me do.
Yeah.
I hope you would have had
Said
it.
me do.
This is such an ugly pick.
Me
for
do.
With the 20th pick in the NFL draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going with Tyler Linderbaum.
Wow. Okay. I don't hate it. I love it, actually, but I'm surprised.
I don't want to
it's the
draft
route
a
you
quarterback
There you
this
go.
high.
Okay.
Tackle, I don't like Trevor Penning. Center feels like probably the pick here. You know, it may be a reach, but I think Tyler Linderbaum is an instant starter. And right now at center they have Mason Cole. You know, I don't really trust him to be the center, so I think Tyler Linderbaum here is a safe pick for the Steelers. Improve that offensive line.
Okay. All right. You can hit my music. All right. With the 21st pick, the New England Patriots are torn between Jermaine Johnson, who I'm surprised has fallen this far on the board, and Andrew Booth, given the fact that they did just lose J.C. Jackson and would be very, very grateful to have a corner at this point in time. However, since Jermaine Johnson is a highly touted prospect and he has fallen this far, I'm going to solidify the edge for the New England Patriots and give them Jermaine Johnson the second.
Okay. I like that pick. I think the Patriots are going to be all over Devin Lloyd. I think they really cover
Linebacker,
like
okay.
big linebackers. He's 6'3",
No, he's a beast.
240.
He's a beast.
And he's versatile as hell. But yeah, edge is a need for them. Probably a bigger need than inside linebacker, even though Lloyd can rush the passer too a little bit. 22, we have the Packers coming up here. The biggest need is wide receiver by far. The way this board has fallen, though, still have some guys here you like. To me, it's probably between George Pickens and Christian Watson. From the mocks I've seen, Christian Watson goes pretty high. Everyone, or a lot of people, expect him to go in the first round. North Dakota State didn't have a ton of production, but they weren't really a pass-heavy team, I would say. He's a senior, didn't really break out until later on, but he has the size, 6'3", 210 pounds, might be listed at 6'4", ran in the 4.3s. I mean, he's an athletic freak. So I think the Packers here take the upside of Christian Watson and kind of avoid that George Pickens with his injury history, even though if he pans out, he could be the best receiver in this draft. So at 22, I got the Packers taking Christian Watson.
And I feel like if the Packers had the board break out the way that it has with our mock, they're going to be disappointed if Christian Watson, even though I think Christian Watson's going to be a great talent for them, but if Christian Watson is the best wide receiver available, I'm sure they're going to be relatively disappointed.
With the 23rd overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals are selecting Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia. They need defensive line help. Last year, one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. And you just lost Chandler Jones. You need to beef up that defensive line. They could go George Karloff this year. I wouldn't hate the pick, but I think they go Devontae Wyatt.
Okay. All right, you can hit my music. Okay, with the 24th overall pick in the first round, the boys are on the clock. And now that they actually did lose their right tackle with La'el Collins, I'm looking to solidify that spot. And I feel like Zion Johnson is going to be my selection out of Boston College. 6'3", 312, big dude. They lost Connor Williams as well. This guy could play guard as well.
I think he's probably going to play guard to start off.
So I'm going with Zion Johnson here.
I'm not sure if he really profiles to move over to tackle at 6'3".
But guard's fine, especially given the fact that they just lost Williams. Yeah. You go and you plug him in immediately.
For sure. And you made this decision a little bit easier for me.
If you're the Bills.
Because, I was between Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green. Because I think the Bills need to beef up that interior offensive line. It's really between that. They could maybe use another linebacker. They have Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds. But other than that, I mean, their team's pretty stacked. They could probably use another corner, but I don't see anything here that really jumps off the screen.
Okay.
I personally think they need a receiver. I'm not a big Davis fan.
Andrew Booth?
Andrew Booth, yeah. I don't know. Andrew Booth is interesting. I don't think they would go Andrew Booth here. I think they want to solidify that offensive line a bit. Kenyon Green, though, he's a beast. I mean, he lined up at 4 of the 5 offensive line positions. He could play tackle. He could play guard. The only position he didn't play was center. He could pass protect and run block. His one issue that I've seen is he holds a lot, which could cause some penalties in the NFL. But I think Buffalo at 25, just beef up that interior.
Now, the 26th overall pick,
Kenyon
Green. With the 26th overall pick, the Tennessee Titans are selecting Trevor Penning.
Nice. Good selection. Definitely needed.
Don't love the tape, but this is a position of need. You do have Taylor Lewan, but you need a right tackle. And I think Tennessee has shown in the past that they go high upside. Caleb Farley, they went high upside when they drafted. I'm forgetting this guy's name out of Georgia, the tackle that was with them for like a game.
What team?
The Titans.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about.
That he went to the Dolphins. Isaiah.
It's Isaiah something.
I would say Isaiah Wynn. No.
Isaiah something.
Oh,
Isaiah
my God.
something.
I could picture his face.
Me too. I can too. I just don't know his name. Isaiah Wilson. His name.
Yeah.
He was somebody who at the time, it was an overdraft. And I think even though Trevor Penning here wouldn't be an overdraft, the Titans like to bet on high upside players, and I think that's what Trevor Penning is.
All right, you can hit my music. All right, so with this selection, the number 27th overall in the first round, I'm kind of in a tough spot here.
This is a luxury pick.
It really is. That's why they really can go anywhere. And I'm actually going to go, I would have loved to see Linderbaum fall here, especially given the fact that their center's coming back. It's the, I'm blanking on who it is.
Ali Marpet.
Thank you. Marpet is going to be retiring. So that being said, I'm going to try and beef up this defense a little bit. Is Andrew still on this board? Oof, that is intriguing, especially because I do not love this secondary. This is a tough pick because I'm torn between Booth and I'm torn between Devin Lloyd because him being on the board here is very intriguing.
You're not thinking about George Karlaftis?
Not overly, just because I like Shaq Barrett. He just signed a contract.
Yeah, but JPP is getting older.
JPP is getting older.
And Dominic Sue is, he's not on the team right now. They drafted an edge last year, though, in the draft with pick 32.
You know what? I'm going to select Andrew Booth Jr. with this selection at pick 27. Devin Lloyd was really the only other player right now that I was really thinking of taking there. However, you need better secondary, especially after you just got torched by the Rams in the pass game. You bring in a guy, Andrew Booth, to beef up that secondary, and I feel like you should be in a better spot going into this season.
Joe?
Got the Packers coming up here at 28.
I'll tell you
Selected
what.
Christian Watson.
You should do the same thing.
Packers are interesting because, again, they don't have a ton of holes, right? They have Jair at corner that you might be looking at. On the edge, I mean, if you want to go Karlaftis just as a rotational guy, like you have Gary and Preston Smith already. Their offensive line, it's weird. Like, none of them are great. Like, Bakhtiari obviously is great. But, like, they kind of just work together as a unit. Like, it just works for whatever reason, even though, like, they could individually be better outside of Bakhtiari. So here it's kind of like best player available, I think. And Karlaftis is on the board. He has a high motor. He's someone I think that they could cover it coming out of Purdue. But Devin Lloyd also interests me a lot.
Definitely.
He's someone that could, play coverage. He could also blitz. He has great size, great athleticism. It's really between those two. Just paid Devondre Campbell, though, a lot of money, but they could use another linebacker. They could use another receiver, too.
That's what I'm saying. If you went double receiver,
they could use another receiver, too, like George Pickens or Sky Moore. I mean, Christian Watson really profiles as an X, which is what Pickens would do, and they already have Lazard, who plays the X, and Watkins, I guess, could move to the slot. You have Randall Cobb. Sky Moore possibly in the slot, too. I mean, Moore is just an elite separator. He kind of reminds me of Elijah Moore. Only 21 years old, too. What do you guys think? Between me, it's between Sky Moore, Karlaftis, and Devin Lloyd. Where would you guys go here? I'm curious.
Me personally, given the fact that this Packers wide receiver room is
disgusting,
horrible to look at, I would not mind if you went double receiver. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers wouldn't mind either.
What do you think?
I'd go Sky Moore.
Go Sky Moore? All right, I'm with it. Let's go Sky Moore.
Because I want to take a player.
Go for it.
With the 29th overall pick, the Chiefs are selecting George Karlaftis out of Purdue, an edge rusher. And if you don't mind, I'd like to make another selection with this pick, and you'd have the Lions one, I think, or the Bengals.
I have Linderbaum.
What?
Excuse me, Linderbaum. What am I saying? I'm sorry. Bengals.
Okay, so I'm going to make this Chiefs pick then. With the 30th pick in the draft, the Chiefs select Dax Hill.
Ooh, Dax Hill.
Dax Hill, interesting.
I do like Dax Hill a lot, but I think they would be taking George Pickens here, personally.
I would have gone receiver.
You would have gone receiver?
I would have gone receiver, personally.
I think they need to go all in on defense.
I don't mind it. Especially you lose Charvarius. You're not going to have Tyrann Mathieu.
And I think Dax Hill does a lot of the same things Tyrann Mathieu can do.
Yep. All right. Interesting. Okay. So now I am making the Bengals selection here, and they desperately need offensive line help.
I wouldn't say desperately.
Not desperately. You're right. They definitely did some things.
Yeah, they don't have any like
correct.
elite guys.
Correct. They could use some offensive line help. Would be better pronunciation. Ah, man, but this is a tough selection.
Yeah, interior wise, doesn't look great.
Not right now. Linderbaum. That's the reason why I said Linderbaum before.
They could get another corner. I think Kyer Elam is there.
Would have been fine.
He has some injury concerns. Is the only issue with Elam. Penalties too. He had 7 flags in 10 games this past season, but he's got size 6'2", 190.
Give me one.
Playing the SEC against Florida. There's a few good corners in this class.
You know
outside
what?
The top ones.
Kyer might be the best selection here. And I think that I'm going to have to take my friend Joel's advice here and go Kyer. Only thing, 6'2", 191, that definitely needs to put some pounds on, but that is a firm
You don't find many
basis.
corners who are 6'2".
No. Exactly.
Mike Sands on Twitter, he actually said he has a couple guys in the, if these players were picked at pick 31 for the Bengals, that's a great pick. Kyer Elam is one of those guys.
Can I actually make the Lions pick also, man?
Sure.
All right,
I'll
sweet.
go screw myself.
Sweet. And I appreciate that, bro. All right, with pick 32.
George Pickens?
That's what I was going to go with.
Now,
you go quarterback?
interestingly enough,
Did we just screw you up?
I am not looking wide receiver. I feel like you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he eased that cushion of not desperately needing to go wide receiver in the
But
first
DJ
round.
Chark is on a 1-year deal.
For sure. And listen, you could definitely use weapons, especially in this NFL where weapons is
They picked
the key.
34 as well.
Exactly. You can get this player as soon as the round wraps around. I am going to go quarterback.
I like it.
You don't think that quarterback wouldn't be available at 32?
But I like getting him at 32 because you have the 5th-year option.
Correct.
So you have
And
that extra year to figure out.
with that being said, it's between Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett.
I thought Sam Howell was your QB2.
He is, but I can't take him this early. Sam Howell, I do have a lot of faith in.
I don't think there's a consensus on
exactly.
any of these guys.
There's really not.
If he's your QB2, I mean, unless you don't think he fits well in Detroit.
No.
And Jared Goff's better than all these fools.
He is, but at the
Man,
same time,
help Jared Goff out.
So what? You could win 5 games instead of
Yeah,
3 next year?
No, because if Jared Goff has these weapons, 2017 Goff is coming.
Oh,
baby.
And this guy and Jared Goff can do a good job of fathering in one of these rookie quarterbacks. So with that being said, the number 32nd pick of this first round is actually going to be Kenny Pickett.
I like it. Gets to stay inside a dome too. Maybe those hand concerns
There
don't
you go.
worry you as much, even though you got to play.
But even
in
still,
Green Bay.
that doesn't concern me
In
overly.
Chicago.
The only thing that concerns me is his age. But outside of that, he's played in Pittsburgh for 4 years. He's been fine. Hasn't had an issue throwing the football yet. And that's really not the hugest concern for me.